Yo, it is cold out here today, y'all. Anyways, you already know what time it is, right? It's the messenger of God here. Coming to drop one for y'all today. I'm going to come and bring y'all something I have been working on for a while. For the last couple of weeks. I just want to bring y'all the life of Moses. I'm going to talk about the life of Moses. Yeah, something different I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about Moses. I don't know, I was led to talk about Moses for some reason. And his story just came to me, y'all. You know, Moses was one of the greatest prophets that God ever used, that God ever had. You know, especially he had them to lead the Israelites. And you know, he was one of the only ones and the greatest ones that ever did it, y'all. Okay? That he had used to show his power, you know, face to face. He was face to face with Moses. All right? So let's get into it, y'all. Let's get into the story of Moses, all right? Now, I want to begin with telling y'all a little bit about Moses. And you can find this Exodus 6:18 through 20, right? Now, the granddad named Levi, the great-granddad, he lived to be 137 years old. And the granddad, this is the Moses family, okay? So listen up. Levi was the great-granddad. He was 137 years old. He lived to see Kohath. If I don't say it right, y'all just work with me. Kohath was the granddad. He lived to be 133 years. And Amram, which was Moses' dad, that lived to be 137 years, which he took, I think her name is Jochebed, which is Moses' aunt. It's his father's sister's wife. And she had, I know it's something else. And she had Aaron and Moses, okay? Now, I'm going to tell y'all about this later on, but let me tell y'all right now at the beginning. Moses had 2 sons by Zipporah, okay? One of the sons was named Gershom, which means a stranger there. For Moses felt like he was an alien in a strange land, because I'm going to tell y'all about that strange land, that foreign land, okay? And he had another son named Elzer, which is mean God is help. For God is my father, said Moses. He was my help and delivered me from the sword of Pharaoh. Okay. Now, before I keep going, let me start it off, because it's a long story. Okay. The Israelites built cities for Pharaoh, but the more the Egyptians oppressed them, the more they multiplied. Now the Egyptians were vexed and alarmed because of the Israelites, so the Egyptians made the children of Israel slaves. They made their lives hard. All their work was harsh and severe. The king of Egypt told the Hebrew midwives if they gave birth and it was a son, they had to kill him. But if it was a daughter, it shall live. You know, they was already saying that the Israelites was too big and too mighty, so they wanted to stop the seed from keep going. So they wanted all the sons to be killed. Okay, let's get back. Okay, all their work was hard and severe. The king of Egypt told the Hebrew midwives, like I said, told them to kill the sons but keep the daughters. But the midwives feared God, and they let their male babies live. They told Pharaoh, we are not like the Egyptian women. They was totally against that. They was like, we don't want to kill our sons. All right. Now, I don't even know, but it didn't say anything about where Aaron was at. Unless it's in another book. But remind y'all, she had Aaron first before Moses. But let's keep going, okay? So, anyways, So God dealt with the midwives and the Israelites. The people multiplied and became very strong because they feared God. He made them households of their own. Then Pharaoh charged all God's people, saying, every son of the Hebrews shall be cast into the river Nile. But again, the daughter shall live. Now, a man named Aram, which I told y'all was Moses' dad, out of the house of Levi, took his wife, if I said it wrong, Jochebed, a daughter of the Levi. She had a son. Matter of fact, she had two. But, this is Moses. She had a son. Once she saw him, he was so beautiful, okay? She couldn't kill him. Once she saw him, she hid him for about 3 months. When she no longer could hide him, she put him in a little ark that was made watertight, so no water could get into it. She put the child in it and laid it among the brink of the river. Her sister, Miriam, y'all, stood some distance to see what would be done to him, by the time the little ark with Moses in it made it down the river, to where he was going, okay? The daughter of Pharaoh came down to bathe. She came down there to bathe at the river, and her maidens walked along the bank. Pharaoh's daughters saw the ark in the river, and she was like, what's that? She sends her maids to go get it. She's like, go get that and see what's in it. And when they opened it up, lo and behold, they saw a child, and the baby cried, and it was still alive, thank God. She took pity on it and said, this looked like it's one of the Hebrews' child. Then the sister, y'all, I think when it said then his sister, I think once again this was Miriam, y'all. I think this was Miriam that did this, okay? I think his sister was Miriam that was watching, which is his aunt. I think was watching from afar, and she done got up there and blended in with the maid some kind of way and saw what happened. Okay, so look. She's Pharaoh's daughter. She said to Pharaoh's daughter, she said, shall I go and call a nurse of the Hebrews? For a woman to nurse the child for you? That was Miriam all this time, watch. And Pharaoh's daughter said, go. And the girl, which, like I said, which I think was Moses' aunt, she went and that was watching from afar. Remember she was watching, y'all? Okay, she was watching from afar. That woman was able to go back, and I think because that was his aunt, she went to go get his own mother to nurse him, okay, which was Jochebed. Because it was like, how else would the lady that went to go get mother to nurse the child end up being his mom if she didn't know who the mom was? It can't just be random. It was so many Israelites. It's like, how would she have known who the mom was, right? Okay. Anyways, but look at her reward for not killing her son, being obedient to God. Because Pharaoh's daughter told her to get the child and nurse it. And the child grew. I was wondering while reading this, did the mother tell him of his family and heritage? Like, did she even let him know that she was his real mom? Did she tell him, was he, a part of her, her family, when the baby got old enough to let him know? But anyways, Pharaoh's daughter says she will give her wages just for caring and nursing for her own child. Okay. I know she couldn't say that was her child. So she got to be with Moses. So Pharaoh's daughter named the baby Moses, and he was coming up. And she took care of him until he got older. As the child got older, she brought him back to Pharaoh's daughter, and Moses became her son, Pharaoh's daughter. I said, ain't that something when he had a mom? Right. She named him Moses, for she said, because I drew him out of the water as if he was abandoned and found. But, the messed up part is he wasn't, in a way. She had no choice, y'all. Moses' mom had no choice but to let Moses go, because they told Pharaoh said that they had to kill all the sons, so she had to send the baby down the river. But like I said, Miriam was watching to make sure nothing happened to him, because I know if I was the mom and had to see something happen, that probably would have been the saddest thing, right? So that's probably why Miriam was watching to make sure nothing happened. So thank God for that. Okay. Okay, it's a banner found. But thank God he's alive. After Moses was grown, it happened. He went out and saw his brethren. As he got older, he went out and saw his brethren, the Hebrew. And he looked at their burdens, and he saw one of the Egyptians beating one of the Hebrews, okay? This was like one of his brethren. I'm like, how did he know? This is the part where I was wondering, like, how did he know? Did someone say something during his childhood? Was he told, like, these were his people? Before being took in as an Egyptian. I said, okay, let's get back. Moses looked both ways. He saw no one, and he killed the Egyptian, okay? And then he hid him in the sand. He went out the second day, and then he saw two Hebrew men fighting amongst each other. And he said to the one that was in the wrong, why are you fighting your comrade, like your brother? Okay? And the man said, who made you prince and a judge over us? Do you intend to kill me like you did the Egyptian? So, you know, he must have saw him when he killed homeboy, when he killed one of the Egyptians and buried him in the sand. Excuse me for saying homeboy, but you know, I'm trying to make it as real as possible. So forgive me for saying that. But he killed one of the Egyptians and he buried him in the sand. Okay, and he saw that. So Moses was afraid because he didn't know, no one knew. But now he knew the word was going to get out to Pharaoh. So when Pharaoh heard, he wanted to slay Moses. But Moses got out of there. Moses fled to the land. Moses fled the land and called, let me see, Moses fled the land. And he went to a place called Midian. I believe it's Midian. Okay? It's this foreign land called Midian because he never been there before. Okay, let me start right there and let me read something for y'all too. In Exodus, I saw this in the little footnotes. I wanted to read it. It says, this was a family, Exodus, a family of 70 immigrants grows into a people of slavery. Suddenly, according to God's detailed and pre-announced plan, they are seen flinging away the shackles of generations of slavery and immigrating to a new country and a new life with miraculous deliverances, rescuing them from destruction again and again. This right here about Exodus. In wonder, when after more than 3,000 years, we see that same race. I wonder who's that same race, right? Often persecuted almost to extinction. Carrying out in startling details God's prediction for the amazing national revitalization and prominence in the last days. So I want y'all to know that this is still going on to this day, y'all. You know, I just wanted to let y'all know that this happened a long time ago with slavery, you know, and it still goes on today, you know, which is a sad thing, you know, that we all can just unite and be one. You know, we all should be one. All right, here we go. Now, remember, I told y'all Moses fled to Midian after he killed the Egyptian, where he sat down by a well. Now, the priest of Midian had 7 daughters, y'all. And they came and drew water and filled their troughs to water their father's flock. Then some shepherds came up there and drove them away. They came up there and scared the little ladies, y'all. Okay? But Moses stood up and he helped them ladies. He helped them daughters that he saw. Them 7 daughters, he helped them fill their water up from the well and went and helped them water their flock. When they came to, it says Ruel, but I believe you say Jethro, the girl's father. He asked, how is y'all back so fast from the well and watering the flock? They said, an Egyptian helped us. He delivered us from the shepherd. He said to the daughter, where is he? Where is this man at? Okay. He's like, why have you left the man? Why y'all didn't call him over here? Go get him, go call him so he can eat with us. Okay? Moses was content that Jethro gave Moses his daughter Zipporah. So Jethro was the daughter's father. he gave him one of his daughters. You know, he's like, you know what, I can't let this man get away. If he can do all this and help them with the flock and stuff like that, I need to keep him on the team. So therefore, he gave him his daughter Zipporah. She had 2 sons by Moses, and I told y'all the name of the sons in the beginning, okay? So let's keep going. Moses said, you know, he felt like a stranger there. I told y'all he felt like a stranger there, but he stayed there because, remember, he had to run away. All right. After a long time, nearly 40 years, the king of Egypt died. I thought it was Pharaoh at first, but then Moses haven't made it back there to tell him to let the people go. So I was wondering, like, at this part in the story, I was like, who is this king that died, right? All right, let's get back. Then the Israelites were crying out because the bondage and slavery. They cried and they cried, but their cry was so hurtful and groanings, you know, that it ascended straight to God and went straight to God. He heard them crying. God heard their groaning. He remembered his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. God saw the Israelites, the children of Israel, and had understanding and respect unto them. And I'm going to give y'all some scriptures to read. Read Psalms 56. Read Psalms 59. Read Psalms 139, okay? And remember, Romans 8 and 31. What shall we say to these things? If God be for us, who can be against us, right? Okay, let's keep going. Moses and the burning bush. Now, Moses kept the flock of Jethro, okay? Which is, remember I said, he's now Moses' father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock back to the side of the desert, and he came to Mount Sinai, the mountain of God, Horeb. The angel of the Lord appeared to him in a flame of fire out of the midst of the bush. He looked at the bush, and it was burning, but not yet consumed. He's like, Moses walked around that bush. He was like, hold up, what's going on? How is this bush not burnt, okay, and it's on fire? Okay. He said, you know what, I got to see what's going on with this bush. Great, it was, you know, Moses said, I will then turn and see this great sight. Why the bush is not burnt? God called Moses. Moses. Moses said, here I am. God said, do not come near. Take your shoes off of your feet, for this is holy ground. God said, I am your father, the father of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Moses hid his face, for he was afraid of God. The Lord said, I have seen the affliction of my people in Egypt, and heard their cry because of their taskmasters, for I know their sorrows. There go the wind, y'all. Well, it's supposed to be out here because it was raining, but at least it stopped for a minute, but it's picking up. All right, let's hurry up. And I have come down to deliver them out of the hand and the power of the Egyptians, unto a good land that's large, and a land that's flowing with milk and honey, and land of plenty, to the places of the, I call them the ites, because y'all, I told you, I had to write it down like that, because I'm like, okay, what if I don't see it right? So here it goes. The Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Pizarites, the Havites, and the Jebusites. God said he heard the cry of the Israelites, and he will send Moses to Pharaoh, that he may bring forth my people out of Egypt. Moses said, who am I to go to Pharaoh? He was just like, he wasn't having it, y'all, okay? God said, I will be with you, okay? Like, how can you deny God? This is a sign to you that I have sent you, okay? When you have brought my people out of Egypt, you shall serve God on the mountain. Serve God on the mountain of Horeb, that's Sinai. Moses said, when the Israelites asked, who sent me, who shall I say? God said, I am who I am, what I am, and I will be what I will be. Okay? You shall say this also, the Lord, the God of your fathers, of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that has sent me to you. This is my name forever, and to be remembered for all generations. So remember that. Say the same to the elders, and say, God appeared to you, saying, I have visited you and seen which is done to you in Egypt, and I will bring them out from under Egypt, and brought to a land that's large and flowing with milk and honey. And the elders shall believe and obey your voice. And you and the elders of Israel shall go to Pharaoh and tell him to let us go. Okay? We beseech you 3 days into the wilderness that we may sacrifice to the Lord our God. I know he won't unless I force him to do so. No, not by my hand. I will stretch my hand and smite Egypt with my wonders. I will do it in the midst thereof. After that, he will let you go. Okay? I will give the Israelites favor in the sight of the Egyptians. See, God will prepare a table before you in the presence of your enemies. It shall come to pass when you go, and ye shall not go empty-handed. Every woman shall borrow from their neighbor and of her that may be residing at her house the jewels of silver, gold, and raiment. You shall put on your sons and daughters. You shall strip the Egyptians of what belongs to you. Okay? God now prepares Moses and equips him. Moses said, they won't believe him or listen or obey his voice, for they will say, the Lord did not appear to me. God said, what is in your hand? Moses said, a rod. God said, cast it in the ground. Cast it on the ground. It became a serpent, which was just like the one that was on Pharaoh's crown, on his head. Moses fled from it. He was like, okay. He was like, what's going on here? He told Moses, take it by the tail and stretch it out. And guess what happened? It became right back to its original form into a rod, y'all. Isn't that something? This is what you shall do, so the elders will believe you. The Lord also said to put his hand into his bosom, take it out, and behold, it was leprous. He had that disease, the leprous disease, and then when he told him to put it back in there again, and when he did, it'll be healed, it'll be restored. So he'll tell him to put his hand in his bosom, right, and take it out, and then have a disease, and then put it back, and then it'll be healed. Okay, and that will be the second sign. And if that don't happen after that, y'all, he said, go ahead and do what is the third sign, which will be turning the water, take some water and pour it on the dry land, and it shall become blood. Moses then complained. I said he complained, y'all. Okay. He complained to go forward. And he said, Lord, I got a slow speech and an awkward tongue. He said he had a speech dialect. Like, how is he going to do this? The Lord said, who do you think made man's mouth? Who makes the dumb, deaf, and blind? Is it not I, the Lord? Now, go, for I shall be with your mouth and teach you what to say. Moses said, oh, Lord, send someone else. I was like, poor Moses. The Lord was angry and said, all right, look. Is there not Aaron, your brother, the Levite? He asked him, like, don't you have a brother then? Aaron, the Levite. Now, he can speak well. This is a prime example of how the Lord used a donkey. Remember he used that mule to make him talk? Y'all remember that? He's trying to tell Moses he can do the same thing. Also, Aaron is coming out to meet you. And when he see you, he will be glad in his heart. God told Moses to tell everything to Aaron, what he told him. He will be with him and Aaron's mouth, and he will teach them what to say and what to do. Aaron shall speak to the people, acting as your mouthpiece. Okay, your spokesman. He's going to be Moses' prophet, and you shall be God to him. You shall take the rod and do the signs that I prove that prove I sent you. Okay. Moses went away and went to Jethro, the father-in-law, and he told him, let me go back to Egypt to check on my relatives to see if they still alive. I said this. I said, I wonder, did he tell them that he was really a Hebrew and not an Egyptian? But he was raised, y'all, as an Egyptian. But we know the real. He said, go in peace. God said to Moses in Midian, go back to Egypt. All the ones who sought your life, okay? All the ones who sought your life after killing the Egyptians is dead. So he don't even have to worry about that. He can just go back in peace. Moses took his wife and sons and set them on a donkey and returned to Egypt. Moses took the rod of God in his hand. God told Moses what God said to Moses, what I said to Pharaoh. Go tell Pharaoh. he told him that he will make Pharaoh's heart stubborn and harden his heart, so he will not let the people go. You will tell him, Israel is my son, my firstborn. And I say to you, let my son go. Behold, I shall slay your son and your firstborn. Now, while Moses was resting on his way, on his way back to Egypt, he took a little break, right? And when he was on a break, on the way to Egypt, the Lord met with Moses. He sought to kill him by making him very ill because he didn't circumcise one of his sons. But guess what? It wasn't his fault, y'all. It was his wife, because she had opposed to it, but she saw how ill Moses was, and she took a knife and went ahead and cut off the skin and circumcised him and said, surely a bloody husband art thou to me. So basically, she went ahead and did it so that way Moses would live, okay? He let Moses recover and told Aaron to meet Moses in the wilderness. Aaron met Moses in the mountain of God, Horeb, Sinai, and kissed him. He was so happy that he saw Moses. Moses told all the words to Aaron that God told him, which the Lord has sent him, and all the signs. Moses and Aaron gathered together in Egypt, all the elders of the Israelites. Aaron spoke all the words he had given to Moses, and he did the signs in the sight of the people, and the people believed. When they heard that the Lord had visited the Israelites and looked upon their afflictions, then they bowed their heads in worship. Y'all, that's just some of the story before Moses goes to back to Egypt. I wanted y'all to know how Moses came up as a little child, and what really happened to him. You know what I'm saying? Because he went through so much, okay, at his birth. And I was also reading how old he was before he made it back to when he got ready to go and fight the war with Pharaoh. Aaron was 83 and Moses was 80. Okay, I thought this stuff was kind of sad. I was trying to write down all of this stuff because the story of Moses is something else. I didn't even want to stop, y'all, because like I told y'all, Moses died when he was 120 years old, but he was one of the best prophets there ever was in the Bible. I don't want to drag it out too long. Maybe one day I can try to tell y'all the rest with Pharaoh, because y'all already know what time it is. When he went to go see Pharaoh, y'all, I'm telling you, he did all these plagues, and Pharaoh's heart was so hardened. He wouldn't let his people go. No matter what Moses did, he had all his magicians, sorry y'all, trying to say that they can do the same thing he can do. He just didn't want to believe that God has so much power, and he just didn't want to let his people go. He wanted to keep them to build his cities, and he was raising the son up to be the same way, only for it to be, after all that, he waited until he put all them plagues on him to the very end, to when his own firstborn got was killed because of that. The angel of God sent the angel of death and took his firstborn. But even after that, even every time when he said, I'm gonna let your people go, he turned around and lied and did the same thing over and over again. He did not let the people go just so God can take away everything that he did. But God knew. So Pharaoh, again, like I said, even after he let the people go, he still went after Moses and them. By the time they got halfway halfway through the water, because Moses stretched out he used Aaron and Moses to stretch out the rod to split the sea. And by the time they was going through the sea, guess what happened? The water had drowned Pharaoh's army. And so, he still couldn't let him go. He still went after them. He still just kept on, y'all. I just don't understand, what more does it take for somebody to open their eyes up and see, or to listen. It's just like that today. People don't listen and don't do what they're supposed to do. They just want to go ahead and do things their own way. And I had tried to write some of it down, but I don't want to drag it out too long. But Moses and the Hebrews was finally free after 400 years of slavery. So remember, only what you do for God will last. So the next time God says to set his people free, you better listen and take heed, because God don't play. So don't wait until the battle is over. You know, y'all see these things happen today, even freedom going on, that people asking for freedom. Look how the weather is changing. The weather is changing. It's almost like you don't even know what season it is because of how things are just changing around the world. We got war and rumors of wars. You know, y'all, the bottom line is we need to have peace in our heart and to prepare ourselves and always make sure that you repent and pray. I love y'all. I just want to give y'all the story of Moses and well, some of it. And I love y'all. If no one told you that you was beautiful, remember that you are just the way you are. And I love y'all. All right, I love y'all. All right, so take care, and I'll try to either try to finish it or I'm gonna leave it just like that, y'all. All right, so talk to y'all later.